And we're back here. Main event, second hour. Don't forget, live on YouTube. TME Media AZ is where you can find us 8 to 10 a.m. Monday through Friday. No Dale today, unfortunately. I had to go deal with a personal issue. As I said at the top of the show, at least he was able to text to give me a heads up before the show. About 1:29 this morning, he was able to do it. It's not hard to do, folks. Out there, if you go with what we were just talking about in that first hour as well. So we'll have to see. I don't know how that situation is going. I'll check in with him later today. But every Wednesday, 9 o'clock, we're blessed with a winning coach coming in here as well. Let's get into it with a bird's eye view. There he is.
Good morning. Good morning.
How you doing, man?
Good. How are you today?
Different background today. Of course, Mike Sheehan, Scottsdale Christian Academy, three-time. Should I say three-time state champion 2A, or should I say back-to-back-to-back? Because Dale
I like the back-to-back-to-back, right? 3-time you can split up.
Yeah, that's what Dale said. Dale goes, you have to go back-to-back-to-back-to-back, and that, to me, that sounds weird. But yeah, 3 means you could have won 3 over 30 years, right?
Yeah, exactly. Or you just say 3-peat, right? Like, because that's kind of what it is. Are we allowed to say that, or is that?
No, that's Pat Riley trademarked that when he was with the Lakers.
That's what I was going to say. I forgot about that. Yeah.
I mean, Pat Riley doesn't need any of my money, Mike.
Or mine. He's fine. He's fine. Yes.
New background today, I noticed there. What did you do?
Yeah,
Get rid of the media room already?
Different room. Here, I'll show you. I'm in a classroom today.
I say that looks like a classroom. I've been in those classrooms, rain delays multiple times and stuff. Yeah. Is that a like a, I'm gonna say pillow, but is that a soft thing behind you?
Yeah, it's like it used to be in the gym, right? So it's like in the basketball court.
Yeah.
Or it'd be under the hoop that they run in instead of running into the brick. Yeah.
When they can't stop themselves. Yeah, because I was in that room last year. Oh yeah, right there. I was in that one. Is that the room where they have not the scoreboard, but the thing where the scorekeepers and everybody said that was in one of the.
Oh, that's a different one. That's what I'm saying. That's a different one. They took everything from when they redid the gym, and like some teachers wanted it, and they kind of put it in rooms, which is kind of cool. It's different.
Because we were in that room for that rain delay last year. We went and sat in there, and I was like, that's kind of neat to have that as a desk right there as well. But hey, man, you got coming up this Friday, Pima coming up for you to start your season. Before we get into your talk, and I know you're busy with the real estate stuff and then getting ready for this season, but I'm assuming everybody's heard about the Ketel Marte situation out there.
Yes.
And as a head coach, I talked to Dale about it in a locker room perspective if that was to happen. Bruce Cooper yesterday, we talked about the 2001 D-backs because he was integral in that locker room and stuff like that. So I'm just curious on your position here. A player just shows up, doesn't show up, ghosts everybody. And I said it, you weren't on yet, I don't think. But I said, I know of a fact where like you had a player one year that his parents just went on vacation and he missed the first game of the year, and stuff like that. And I'm assuming they let you know ahead of time. He just wasn't like, where's he at? But how would that be handled here as a head coach? Now you're at a high school level and stuff like that, but I'm just curious how that would be handled by you with a player pulling a stunt like that.
It's kind of hard, right? And I'm not going to think in terms of talent wise, but like when it's one of your superstars,
what if it's your quarterback?
It makes it. I know. Yeah.
Let's just put this scenario out there. What if it's Carson Reed and you go to Friday night and he doesn't make the bus to go to Pima and you haven't heard from him? You can't get a hold of him.
He's definitely not playing. I don't know if he's off the team, but I think there's a short period of time where not that there's going to be lesson learned, or it might even be more what the player wants, but I'm going to give him a little break and say, hey, separate yourself from the team. And I don't even want you to go. You got to learn from this. With a young man, he's going to care. With Marte, is he even going to care? Is he going to appreciate the vacation?
Well, which is my next question to you. Let's say he does that for the Pima game, works his way back, comes back and does it again. And a star player, sorry, Carson Reed, I'm pointing you out in this. I'm not saying you're going to do this, but let's say week 8 does it again. Because Marte's got a history of doing this.
I'm done. I'm literally done at that point, right? So like at the same time, like Major League Baseball, like that's your job. If we don't go to our jobs, or in neither one of us necessarily work a 9 to 5, but if you have a 9 to 5 job and you just decide not to show up once and they kind of give you some grace and you go back and you do it again, see you later. Like what are we doing? How long are we going to coddle these guys?
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. $16 million. He's got to see. Yeah, somebody like you or I don't show up to our job. We're out 50, 60, maybe $100,000 job that you have to try to replace. Yep. $16 million reasons to get up and go. And if you can't find the joy in that, right? I know that simplifies it, but yeah.
I think you just got to get rid of him and let him be somebody else's team's problem. Like that's literally like that. That's it. Because no matter what, no matter the talent, he's not Shohei. He's not anything that's like the greatest of all time. Like he's good, but he's replaceable. And it's
that's
like,
well, they
you
don't
want to have. Huh?
I said we're all replaceable, and they've shown exactly. they've actually shown while he's missed games this year for injury or rest time. They've shown they play better without him. Actually, not these last 2 games. See you later. Yeah, exactly. And it's just that's why I'm fascinated by this because D-backs are send him back to Arizona for an MRI, and it's like, well, what are you doing about it? Like
it's all cover up.
What I want to know is, are you paying? Because on the restricted list, you don't have to pay him. So are you paying him right now, or are you punishing him by not paying him on this restricted list? Those are the things that they just aren't squashing. But then on top of it, I mean, and I know I'm putting you in a scenario you haven't been able to be in and stuff like that, but just how do you get your team ready in that situation? So Monday they looked terrible, but then yesterday they looked terrible. It's just how do you respond to that? And you do a good job of getting your players ready, and if they're not ready to play and during a game, it gets better throughout the game, and we've seen that over the last 3 years and stuff like that. But think of those coaching hurdles mentally you're going to have to go through for a team that gets let down by somebody not showing up.
You know what I do? I actually call out that player in front of everybody without that player there and say, hey, like he's affecting everybody as a whole. Like that should not be happening. He is now gone. It's us right now. So we got to kind of get that group to be a little bit more tight knit, want to play for each other a little bit more. Forget the nonsense. The hardest thing is to forget the nonsense. But if you address it and you say, hey, that dude's gone right now. We don't have him. It doesn't matter anymore. Like we're moving on without him and let's go. Like it's almost like when we had the 24 guys suspended.
Yeah.
We had a Zoom meeting. We're going to accept it. Let's go forward. Let's do our thing and let's just go. I think eventually you just have to be like, cut ties. Tell these guys he's not necessarily any better. It doesn't make us any better. Obviously, it's nice to have that bat in the lineup. But you know what? We've got a young man, and you know what? You build up the young man behind him. Be like, hey, I can't remember who his back is, but this guy right here, he's a heck of a ball player. We don't even drop off. Yeah. What's that?
I thought Vargas is who it is, but
so hey, we don't drop off of Vargas, so let's go and build it. Like exude confidence to that kid.
Yeah, but I mean, there's a difference between you found out the suspensions and you were pretty sure the suspensions were coming days beforehand. Yeah. I mean, this was 8 minutes before they put the lineups out 8 minutes before, where you're just like, what? Yeah. And I know it's different in football because an hour or two ahead of time with warm-ups and stuff. Nobody's just walking out to the stadium. They're not doing what I do where they roll out of the car, roll into the stadium and sit down on the bench and and I'm not going into play and, got nobody stretching and stuff like that. But it's just fascinating discussion that's happened at a professional side. And I'm sure it happens at high school levels, out there where kids just decide they're not going to play anymore.
I do have an opinion as we talk through this.
Yep.
I guarantee they didn't address it. And everybody was wondering more or less what was going on, opposed to what the game they were in.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, in baseball, and I'm not a baseball coach, but it's not like 11-man in football where every single guy needs to do his job on every single play. Yes, it is to an extent. But if you don't have your second baseman, replace him. You got somebody there. And let's move forward. But they should have, you know what? Even in a Major League Baseball like dugout, hey, bring everybody in. Hey, Marte's not here today. We don't know what's going on. It doesn't matter. Let's play. Let's go. I bet you they just had this weird what's going on.
Well, nobody knew. So then everybody's wondering, was he in a terrible car crash or something, or, all that stuff will start going through your head.
Well, Lovello's just got a squash right there. Say it doesn't matter. We'll figure it out later. Let's concentrate where we're at. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe he did do that, but whatever.
I don't know. Let me ask you this, because, it's what we do. We're opinion hosts and stuff like that. But You look at other coaching decisions, whether it be other sports or even in football, and just go, what are you doing? Or do you kind of look at it kind of like well, I'm glad I'm not you right now.
Yeah. I guarantee it's like you try to control the controllables, and like sometimes there's some uncontrollables you can't deal with. But like, yeah, I don't envy a lot of situations, or what would I do here? Like, I just got to worry about my own squad and do that. So it's like I don't envy that. Like, it's hard no matter what he decides in that moment. People are going to judge like Lavello for like however he handles, even though it's not even anything to do with him. He just has to handle it.
I said it earlier in the show. I go, no matter what decision they make, we're going to know if it's the right decision or not because of what the locker room's going to respond. Like if they go on an 8-game losing streak and they run themselves out of the playoffs, no matter what the decision is, whether I think it's right or wrong or you think it's right or wrong, it's most importantly now what the locker room thinks. So if they let them back on that team and then they just suck, well, that wasn't the right decision. The locker room didn't want that to happen. And, but if they suspend him and they go on this big run, all right, different. So that's what's intriguing to me is it's not so much what we think we're going to be critical or not critical, and the fan bases are going to be critical or not critical. Yeah. But that he's walking a tightrope in that locker room. And you know this with having a bunch, especially young men, right? Emotional young men, right? 18, 17, 16, 18-year-olds. What sets them off, and it could just be something simple that sets them off, and then you just have a hard time corralling them in there. That's the hardest part, I think, for the coaching side, in my opinion, in this whole scenario.
The culture part and all that stuff, that's the hardest part at all times. Yeah. Always at all times. It's always those things where it's like, I think culture is important. That's why you got to be building on it all the time, and not like when you run into a situation like this, you can't be scrambling. Like you should already know what your culture is, and we can move forward or move on or like fix it. It's that then then at least the players have the trust in the coach.
Let me ask you this, and I will move off of this, but I have a coach on here, so I want to take advantage of this. What if you treat players fairly, but you do treat players, your quarterback gets a little bit more grace on things than like a normal player. I'm just throwing quarterback out there again because he's the highlight guy. But you do treat players fairly. You have no problem telling a quarterback when he's sucking out there and treating him and stuff like that. Yeah. But if you had a scenario where, like in this instance, they held the line up 8 minutes, where the rest of the locker room's got to be going, you wouldn't do that for me. What are we doing here?
Yeah.
So if you ever had a scenario, now obviously not to that length, where other players are kind of like, what are you doing? That guy's not playing well. You're babying him there. You're showing him favoritism, and then you're just ripping me a new one when I'm doing the right stuff out here, things like that. If you had that scenario, is it something you do have to worry about as you're out there? Are you cognizant of it?
Yeah, you got to. I think you got to worry about the entirety of something opposed to one person. Like I'm not opposed to hurt the feelings of one person. If they're not doing the right thing, I'm going to say the thing that needs to be said to take care of the rest of the organization or the rest of the team. So I feel like he probably shouldn't have held it. Hey, dude's not here. Dude hasn't warmed up. Like it should have been decided an hour before that. If he's not even there, hey, we got it. This is what we're going with. Yeah. Let's move on. Like, what are we waiting on? Like, are we waiting to coddle this guy? That's all we're doing if we're waiting.
Yeah.
Oh, we're hopefully he comes. And if he's not our savior's not there. So yeah, we're going to play bad if we're putting that much stock into him. Move on.
Yeah. I did that scenario. I did that scenario of like, in those sitcoms where like they're breaking up and then like the boyfriend's like, I got this plane ticket for you. Come join me. And then he's at the airport and they're like, we're going to close the door. And he's just staring out in the concourse. And as he's walking in, he turns around one last time and walks slowly backwards. And I could just imagine Torey Lavello doing that before turning that car, and everybody else just being like, what are you doing? We're here to play baseball.
It's just because if he gets hurt, if he's hurt, you're not acting like that. So move on.
I know it is an amazing thing. Have you ever covered for a player that's had mishaps? Like, what I mean by that is the Diamondbacks didn't do it in this scenario because they could have on Monday been like, Marte's knee flared up on him. We sent him back to the hotel, and he's just not going to be here. They could have totally covered for it, and they did the restricted list
absolutely,
and stuff like that.
I don't know if I've necessarily. No, I haven't really covered for like. I just have. There's no coveraging, but it's like, hey, if they've got something personal going on, they have something personal coming in. That's with them.
Yeah.
I'm going to handle it the way I handle it. But hey, they got something personal. This is what's going on. This is what they're choosing to do. Like, I'd rather be pretty upfront with my team than hide stuff too. Yeah. Like externally, maybe not. right? But internally, they're going to know everything what's going on.
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah, and that's an interesting takes there that you bring to here as a head coach. So I appreciate you. I know it's baseball, and that's not why you're on here, but
Oh yeah,
I'm just
team.
fascinated by this whole scenario that people just don't. I mean, Tori the other day said, as coaches, sometimes we just have to deal with disappointment, and I'm like, this isn't disappointment. This is somebody abandoning you. This is a totally different situation than somebody not performing or not listening to you or something to that effect, So
I think I just move on. Eventually you have to move on, otherwise it continues, and you create your own problems as a coach if you let more things slide. You really do.
Yeah, interesting enough, we're going to start a rally for you to be the new Diamondbacks head coach here coming up. Robert said, Coach Mike is hired. He can take Hazen's job. Yeah. Oh, he's got you as GM. I got you covering that the locker room.
I'll take GM. I'll do that all day. I feel like I'm pretty good at just seeing what's going on, and I wouldn't mind like giving the contracts and negotiating. That'd be the fun part.
My biggest thing about GM, because I was thinking about this last night, is as mad as you could possibly be at Cattell for doing this to you again, is you still have to publicly save your face there. Because if you're going to try to trade the guy, you got to still put a positive light out there so a team will take him. You can't just go out there and bash the guy.
I think at some point, they're going to use that against you anyways at this point. You might as well just be like, hey, dude, this is what he did to us. This is what you're getting. Like, you're not going to be pulling the cloak over anybody's eyes. They all know already. That's my opinion.
No, you're probably right on that, but it's just that would be the hardest thing for me to do is just look at the cameras and be like, oh, we just hope he gets healthy and we're going to work with him and blah, blah, blah. In the back of your mind going, I'm so mad at him. I don't even want to see him anymore, type of a deal. So, but hey,
all I would be doing is trying to figure out how to not pay him anymore and get rid of him.
Well, he's on that restricted
I wouldn't care
list.
how it happened.
You don't have to pay him if he's on that restricted list. I don't know. I'm sure there's a time frame and stuff like that. With collective bargaining, but that's what I want to know in this whole deal. Is he getting paid on that restricted list? Because that'll tell you a lot right there also, 100%. But hey, this weekend you got Pima. You're traveling to Pima on Friday night. And everything. Yeah, the buses, got enough juice in the electric motors there and ready to go for that. What's that, 2.5 hours for you guys to get there?
Yeah, I think 2 hours, 2:45, 3 hours, depending on when you leave, somewhere right around there, 2:45.
Because you got to beat traffic and stuff too, right? You got to leave early enough that you don't have traffic.
Yeah, we're 1:45, I think, out of here is when we should depart. That's the goal. Yeah.
So what's the now normal, even in 2 years ago or 3 years ago now, I forget the years, you had to open up on the road, but it was at Santan Charter, which was an hour drive from you because that's out by my place.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's not his thing. So what's the day like for these kids? Because you have some, some veteran kids that have been on this team, obviously.
Hold on. I just got like all kinds of kids just walked in just to let you know. So
hi, everybody.
We're good.
I'll watch my language.
Is this the hangout room? I thought it was only you, Nola. That's okay. Okay.
The problem with the small school, right? Is the problem.
I know.
But what's the setup on Friday morning? I'm sure there's a pep rally. I don't know if it's Friday morning or Thursday night. Nothing.
No pep rally, no setup. Like we kind of just go about our day and just get on a bus and go play football. Right. Nothing.
What kind of school I think it's so early no pep rally?
I think it's so early in the year. They don't even have all that stuff planned yet. You know what I mean? It's like it starts so quick, but it would be awesome if they did, but I do not think so. Maybe for that first home game is my assumption, but not for Pima. I think they just go, good luck. You're going 3 hours away. Go ahead, go have fun. You know what I mean? It's one of those.
Yeah, it's interesting. So just a regular school day, and then they just get checked out, go to the lock. Now, what people don't know, I know in years past on Pima, I'm not sure. Are they going to be all taped up and the bottoms on and everything ready to go on the bus ride?
No, we'll ride there just in whatever their comfortable clothes are, and then we'll get there about 4:45, not even on the field till about 6. So we got a good amount of time to get dressed, relax a little bit, get taped up, take your time, listen to some music, hit the smelling salts, eat some gummy bears, you know what I mean? And then we'll get rolling.
I don't know if that's 2026. I don't know if you're allowed to admit that stuff anymore, right?
It's the good gummy bears.
I'm talking about the smelling salts side of it. Like that's negative incognito. He's kidding everybody.
I'm talking about myself.
So let me ask you this. 1:35, so everybody will eat at school for lunch. What do you do for meals for them and pregame prep and all of that stuff on a long trip like this? Same
thing we do every game for every single game I've been here. Like they don't the guy boys are kind of tired of it. We just do Jimmy John's. There's three. I do the same exact order.
I can
It's
relate to that.
$211.72. We get 3 boxes of Jimmy John's. It's ham and turkey only. I tell them if they take the tomatoes off, they're soft. We got to like grow through tomatoes. And we just have those. We have our Gatorades, and we eat the same thing every single time. That's what to me. That's what I don't want to change it. It's I'm not super superstitious.
Yeah.
But I don't want to change that.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Sometimes Jimmy John's tomatoes are a little soggy, Coach. I mean,
listen. You stop, dude. If you're one of you're soft. Then
I love
like,
tomatoes. I told him I love tomatoes, but I hate them when they're soft and squishy. I can't stand it.
Like it's, you know what? You got to leave them on. That's part of becoming a man, Steve. You know what I mean? Part of becoming a man is
maybe that's
the
been my
problem.
Maybe we just figured it out as we go in. Yeah. So that's just setting it up there. And but you just take them on the bus and then just give it to them on the bus. Yep. So you don't. I know. I
try to eat like
stopped,
about an hour into the trip. So then we'll bring snacks and granola bars and Snickers bars, and because honestly, then you don't play till 7, so there's a long amount of time, and you have to stay fueled. I mean, it's an exhausting game, and you got to make sure these boys stay fueled.
I know in the past you guys stopped, for bathroom breaks and stuff like that. Or was it just we're going straight through, fellas? Let's do this.
We got a charter, so there's a bathroom in the back, so we won't be doing that today. Yeah,
you're not on the small buses.
Say it. Private school, Scottsdale charter bus. Yes, we have a restroom in the back.
You guys travel better than the rural schools that have to come into town. Jeez.
I know. Stop. Don't do that.
Pima last year showed up, and I think they were pushing their bus in at the end.
Oh, I'm sure they were, but that was like on purpose. That was their warm up. They're tough kids. They probably wanted to flipping the bus to get there.
They actually had a nice. I actually looked it out. They actually had a nice bus for that trip and stuff, and stuff like that. So so just the mindset going into this. Have you had to talk to the kids at all going to this game on Friday night? Not just that it's the first game and first start for your quarterback. First guys are getting starts out there this week. Have you had to talk about them, what to expect down there at Pima? What's the mindset? Are you getting them ready, or is it just, guys, it's regular football, let's just go play it?
Yeah, I think you got to prepare for a team like Pima. They're just super physical, and it looks like we didn't have a scrimmage film to share, so we didn't get to see theirs, but I did hear a little bit of information. They're just big. They're going to be big up front, big, strong kids. I know they've got like a 6'4", 270-pound tackle, another 6'3", 250. They're going to be big up front, and we know that they're going to try to, do the old adage. It's like 3 yards in a cloud of dust, but they're trying to get 4. They're going to run it at us. They got a 4-year starting quarterback. Grimes was out last year because he was hurt, but he's back again at quarterback. So I think we know them very well. They know us very well. I'm sure both teams do a lot of the same things that we've done the last couple of years. Maybe a tweak here or there, just different players, but definitely preparing for them. Not looking past, not looking to any state championships, not looking to playoffs. Like really trying to stay true on Pima right now. And I kind of talked about it 2 nights ago. Literally on Friday night, it will be 1,000 exact days that we will be state champions. So we're talking about holding that standard.
All right.
And it is crazy. It's a crazy number. Literally 1,000 days since we held up the trophy against Pima in 2023, right?
Yeah.
24, 25. Yeah, 2023. So there's a standard, and we're just trying to hope we do to it. And we've yelled at them. We've built them up. We've been nice. We've done all this stuff. So today I've created the practice list is set, and I told them it's a player-led practice. We're going to whistle you in and out of drills. The coaches will have the drills, but I'm not telling you to jog off the field. I'm not like, they have to get to a point where like, we're not on the field with you. We got to grow up. So when we do stuff today, it's all on you guys to split, to get your breaks, to get your water, to get back together, to break, to call each other out, to get going in the huddle. Like, we're going to call and we're going to coach, but it's their turn to really kind of tune in today.
And so now when did the conversations about winning a championship 3 years in a row end, or did it never start this year? But did you kind of have to? Because I can't remember if it was 2 years ago or last year where some kids were just like, we've won championships, going in there, and you had to kind of squash that. Any of that this year?
You know what? I think we beat it into them so much last year. Not beat it in. We talked it into them right before anybody's screen clips that. You know, we just talked about it so much last year. I think when our boys now get interviewed with different places,
Yeah.
they say the right things. I just hope we're in the right mind space and not just saying the right thing, you know. So it's we're not worried about 4 because literally and truthfully, if you think about it, it does not matter. If we go into the business world and we pride ourselves in the last 3 years and we don't do any work, well, then all that doesn't matter because you got nothing else coming in. So we've got to continue every single week. We got to put money in the bank and try to cash it out at the end of the year. That's the goal.
No matter how good I did in the business world, I always got a bigger budget the next year. And you're like, I barely,
right? Yes.
I hit record numbers last year. Do you want me to hit more record numbers this year? For the 4th, 5th year in a row, what are you doing? So it is an interesting dynamic, right? But yeah, I was looking at Pima's lineups last night for their kids and stuff like that. I mean, they got a 6'4" defensive back. That's the backup quarterback there. 190 for a defensive back. On
I
top
can tell
of
you
it.
almost hoops.
Yeah.
You got hoops, McBiles.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Grimes, I know Palmer, I know all the names. They got some studs. They got some studs. For sure.
Yeah, Palmer's 6'2", 190 pounds. We'll give Pima some shout outs here. But you know, and I said this the 2 years, you know, I showed up to the championship games and you walked in and you're like, oh dear God, those Pima dudes are huge compared to the other guys out there. And so I expect to see that showing up this week, right? As you go into it. Now, first game of the season, 2 years ago, you were working in a new quarterback, same situation as this year. Last year, you had a lot of veterans coming back. So things to that, a lot of unknowns going into the first game generally out there. I remember back 2 years ago, I distinctly remember on the side, a lot of confusion. I'm just going to give you people examples. You know, when it was time to punt, you know, your coaching staff was yelling for kids, where you at, where you at, where you at? And that got mixed up in year 2.
So different when it's, you're not set and they haven't been doing this and we got to go in it's going to be so it's going to I've said nothing in the last 30 seconds. I've made a lot of noises. So that's how I feel like. I feel like I hope it's not comparable to 2 years ago, but it's going to be. They're high school kids.
Yeah.
They're all playing some new stuff. They're moving around a little bit different. We're starting on a field where the visiting stands are behind us.
Yeah.
So it's going to be even more in their heads.
A lot of noise.
So it's like so many things against us. It's so good for us. That's where and we might be like, if I have to call a timeout because the right guys aren't on punt, I'm going to be so upset, but I wouldn't be surprised if I had to.
Yeah.
You know, it's especially first game, no scrimmage, you know,
That's
on the road,
side.
new guys here, you know, so it's
Well, then last year, no headphones in that first game. I was trying to work on headphones while you guys were trying to call plays. And I got somebody's like, hey, that guy knows media stuff. Come down here and try to figure out. So I'm all there trying to figure out your headphones. And, you know, those variables happen out there. But just with a newer team, you know, and getting guys comfortable and things to that effect. How much do you think? I know they're missing the scrimmage last week because it was called because of weather and lightning and stuff. How much of that is not a concern, the right word, but it's a lot of guys are going to see live action for the first time, either in a year or ever on this level of a football field on Friday night. How much of that is a concern to be watching for?
I think it's a pretty big concern right now, to be honest. It's one of those things that I am worried about right now. I feel like if you don't get hit, you don't know how well you can hit either. And if you're you know, it's nice to get out and not have injuries, but it's also nice to be hit, get out of there without injuries, and just let the kids feel the flow of the stuff, because you're not going against scout team. You're not going against the same old guys where you know his move every time. The defense already knows all our plays. You know, it becomes so much different. I am interested to see what happens, and I do know that we get better throughout the year, but I hope we're good now. With a question, you know what I mean? That's where I'm at.
Right.
That's where I'm at.
Well,
you don't know. You really don't know.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, we already covered it last week, where you guys have a pretty tough schedule. You know, first 4? Well, Glendale Preps kind of put a wrinkle into that a little bit as well. And I saw Richard Opert saying, you know, there's 4 teams now in 2A that aren't having varsity squads, so it's a problem for multiple teams out there with the schedule and stuff like that. But you guys have a tough beginning of the schedule. I've heard you in the past say, regardless of what happens in week one, we obviously learn from it and grow as the season goes on. You've done that the last 3 years. Do you express that to the team at all, or is that just between you and the coaching staffs? And let's see what happens in this game and go on.
Yeah, I think I don't want to make them feel like we're not prepared. I think we're prepared.
Yeah.
Right. But at the same time, you don't want to have that, like, because you don't want to give a kid an excuse. If a kid thinks, oh, I got an excuse, we could lose this one, then, when we're down 7 in the third quarter, they might have a different mentality if that's their mentality going into it. So don't talk about that much. Just kind of talk about preparation, getting ready. And, it's the better you prepare, the better you are in the battle. So that's what we're trying to do and kind of instill some confidence, even if it's fake confidence right now, because we have no clue what's going on.
Well, that's the issue, right? New quarterback, junior quarterback coming in this year, 6'1", 180 pounds is what you guys have him listed at here coming into it.
That's about right. I think he's a little bit heavier than that, too. Okay. I think he's a little bit taller, a little bit heavier. I haven't. I need to update that on the way to Pima.
Yeah, you had your quarterback last year listed at a height, and I'm like, dude, that dude ain't whatever he was. I can't remember now, and I was like, he's taller than that because he was taller than me, and I'm like, I'm 6'2".
Yeah, so Sean thought I had him too heavy, so I think I had him too short and too heavy to him, right? So he wanted to be taller and thinner. So I think I might have missed those off a little bit of numbers.
I could understand. Yeah. I could understand that out there. But you're bringing back staple guys out there that are gonna be just. They were unbelievable last year. Going to be unbelievable this year. Caleb Murphy coming back for you, of course. Help me out. I just forgot your running back's name.
Tom Dickerson. Daniel Elrod, and then you got Kyle Olafson. Yeah. Like we do have some skill sets. I was talking to Coach Wilkins last night, just texting back and forth, and like I know they're going to be big, and I said that to him, but he knows that we're going to be faster probably. So it's it's an interesting matchup to see who if they can control the ball, if we can score. It's going to be interesting, but we're pretty fast, too, as far as a 2A team.
Last question for you, because I know you got to take off here, but then Dale couldn't make it today, had a personal thing. He was able to text. I just want to keep reiterating on that. He was able to text at 1:29 in the morning, people. But
hopefully he's all right.
It's all good to go. I'll text you, and I'll text you after the show here about 10 o'clock. I'll tell you what's going on. He's announced it on here before. It's his wife has I forget what it's called, but it's been flaring up on her and stuff like that. So he's got to go take care of her.
Brooks the salt of the earth.
Yeah, I know, poor right? Brooke so I'm like, you better take care of her. I'm glad he's
taking care of her. Yeah. Yes,
exactly. But I'd be remiss if I don't ask, how's your offensive line looking this year? I know I thought he graduated, but you say you're getting your center back here this year and everything.
Like it's just saying, he's one of those guys, like a 60-year senior. He's awesome. Honestly, he's just keeps getting better.
Well, give him a shout out.
Sam Watkins.
Yeah, there you go. Sam Watkins.
Yeah, Sam Watkins. We do crosses, and it's like if you do good things, or if you're a leader, if you're working hard, or like points. Like I gave him, and I truly think this is what I said, and I truly said that. And his dad might walk in the room right now because I'm in his classroom. But I think Sam is literally, obviously, he's not a wide receiver, he's not a running back, he's not anything. But I think he truly is the best player in the state. But as a center, you don't get that recognition.
No,
but
the
kid is a stalwart. He's going to play a little bit more defense for us this year. So it's he's a stud. And then our O-line, Luke White comes back, which is another one of the better players, two-way players in 2A. He'll be playing left tackle for us.
London he was fun to watch last year on that defensive side. Like
Luke White is nasty. Yeah. He is.
I remember him throwing a couple guys last year. He was going up against, yeah.
And he was only a sophomore at that point, so he's a junior now, and he's bigger, thicker, all that stuff. He's squatting well over 500. So it's, he's a monster. So our offensive line, like obviously we haven't seen it hit anybody else, or but as of right now, I do think should be pretty good. Will we get some like wake up calls and probably have something to work on after this game? 100%. But I think I'm pretty confident going into this game that our offensive line will be pretty good. And I hope I'm correct. Usually I'm pretty good about telling that stuff. But like I said, we still haven't seen. But Danny Brand, London Olson, Jack Schrey, RJ Reeder, Sam Watkins, Luke White. There's some guys that mix in and out. We just added 2 kids. That are about 300 pounds a piece that we just added again too, which you'll see on Friday night too. So we're getting a little bit bigger. We just got to get them all in shape and get ready to roll.
You got it, Coach. I'll be down there. I'm planning on being down there, weather permitting.
Awesome.
I'm not going to drive that far if it looks like it's going to be called for rain.
I know, yeah. If you got all the lightning and stuff, I would not.
I
make
timed
the
it
trip.
out. It's an hour and 30 minutes from my house. Now you got the mountains.
That's
so
nothing.
slower.
That's not bad at all. Then
I drove to Tucson twice last weekend for the Rattlers festivities down there on Saturday and Sunday. An hour and a half, and Glendale's an hour. So it's an hour to SCA. So what's the difference, right? But we'll be out there. I'll be out there. I think Autumn's coming with me. We'll cover that game. Of course, we'll see you out there. Talk to you afterwards, and hopefully a victory. But either way, looking forward to another fun season with you here coming up. And parting words going into this game on Friday night. I'll leave it to you.
Let's just see what happens. Like, I honestly don't know. When you don't have the scrimmage, I'm telling you, it's just like might be the most nerve-wracking start to a year that we've had. 2 years ago is pretty tumultuous. Is that right? Tumultuous?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I remember that start vividly last year because, like I said, he turned out being a really good quarterback. But those first couple of games, I was like,
and honestly, I have confidence in Carson, but I think I could see him starting slow too. Like it's new, game speed's different. It's so I could see that. So hopefully we can get our run game going, play good defense, take our shots when we need them on offense, and grow throughout the season. That's the goal.
Yeah, I mean, it first starts at any level can be a little bit of a shock out there, and I have no doubt, no matter what happens, and I expect him to do well. Don't get me wrong, but I definitely know coaching will get him a long way with your coaching staff there with what you guys have done in the past. It's going to be fun to watch this year, Coach, and it starts Friday night, 7 p.m. We'll see you next Wednesday here. Well, I'll see you Friday night, but otherwise I'll see you next Wednesday here for everybody else with the next start here for the Scottsdale Christian Academy season. I'm not going to say it. Just going to have a good year.
Good year and PCA MVP. That's what needs to happen. So let's make sure you get on that talk.
Well, he's the favorite. MVP. There's no reason he's not the
favorite. No,
it's
the numbers like Kashi or whatever say it's exactly even with him and Shohei. And it's actually ridiculous because all they're doing is pushing Shohei, but PCA is the better player this year.
Well, that's the thing. Shohei's always going to be pushed because of what he does and all of that stuff. But, oh, no, what he did yesterday. It's just what he does. When they played the Dodgers a couple of weeks ago, what he did was ridiculous. And
then Shohei started with a home run, remember? And then freaking PCA comes up. Oh, okay.
I'll show you up.
I'll do it too. Yes, exactly.
I know. Oh, the Cubs to me are the most dangerous team in May, which is funny because I don't watch a lot of Cubs games, but I don't watch a lot of Brewers games. And I'm like, dear God, how good are the Brewers that they're keeping the Cubs?
They're so good.
They're keeping the Cubs at bay.
And then you got Churio. Like they're just the Brewers are a very complete team. They are.
You see, they won 22-0 yesterday over Seattle.
Yes. On accident, they just kept scoring.
Well, did you see all the errors the Seattle was doing? It was ridiculous. So, hey, get out of here. I know you got to run.
I know Rodriguez threw the ball in the stands.
Yeah.
I know. Like they gave him 2 extra.
But that was run 21, by the way, when he did that.
I know. He had given up. Just get it over with. You know what I mean? So,
we'll see you Friday night next week here on the program, Coach. Thanks.
Sounds good. Thank you.
All right, for everybody else, we'll be right back here. We got some more football stuff or baseball stuff to talk. I do have a little football stuff as well. LaFleur spoke yesterday. Kenny Dillingham talk as well. But this Dodgers situation is interesting in Major League Baseball. I want to touch on this. Coming up with their ownership. He's in serious financial problems out there when he sold the Lakers last week, and what he's got coming up. But Max Muncy's contract is interesting. Those details have come out as well. So let's talk about it. Come on back, folks. We'll wrap it up strong with the main event. And we're back here. Much thanks to Coach Sheehan. Of course, Scottsdale Christian Academy. Their season gets underway Friday night, 7 p.m. out at Pima, which is a rural school out there in the far eastern part of the state out there. And looking forward to that. Like I said, planning on going out there. So those of you that follow TME Sports Show, turn on notifications Saturday night, weather permitting. From what I see, no storms are going to be rolling through, and obviously lightning, the big thing. I'll be out there, weather permitting, that the game gets out there, and keep my fingers crossed. So we'll report on the game and give you updates throughout the game there as well out there at Pima. So definitely give us a follow there at TME Sports Show. Of course, you can hit us up anytime on TME Sports Show. I know a lot of people have been doing it with this Ketel Marte situation. You can even text our text line, 623-252-6670. If you don't have X or you don't want to put out on X, because that's kind of a public public place, and I know some people don't like to put out their stuff on opinions out there because they don't want to deal with some of the riffraff of people that might disagree or whatever. You could text our text line 623-252-6670 as well. And like I said earlier in the show, I'm not surprised. I bet you tomorrow we'll get it twice. Tori's got to go kind of a situation because, as we said earlier in the show, I'm really interested in today's Diamondbacks game. Brandon Pfaadt's on the mound. Now, I expected Merrill Kelly yesterday to kind of be the guy that brings the, and also I forgot to say, YouTube chat as well. But I expected Merrill Kelly yesterday to kind of be that stopgap and put a pitching performance together. Another lackluster effort by him. But Brandon Pfaadt, there's no reason not to think that's coming today. And if it doesn't come today, you're going to see some big question marks around this team on the way they're handling it. Mike was lucky enough to. We're lucky enough to have Mike Sheehan kind of give us a coaching perspective, at least his coaching perspective from a football side on the situation and how it's being handled out there. Really quick to wrap up baseball. Don't forget 1:10 today, first pitch for Brandon Pfaadt and the boys over there in Boston. You got to win a game. They pretty much have a sweep, right? They've lost 3 in a row. Last game in Atlanta, first 2 in Boston, and they're losing ground there in the wild card standings with the Padres and Phillies doing what they do best out there with this big distraction. But are you following the story on the Dodgers? Their owner is in serious trouble out there. He's taking out loans. He has a $1 billion payment coming up, I think at the end of September, because he's gone into business and he's buying a venture, and the payment, $1 billion payment, is due at the end of September. And he's going to have something like $20 billion of the loans that he's taken out to buy the Lakers, the Dodgers, and what they're doing with their payroll. He's taken out loans from his insurance companies, which apparently is against the law the way he's doing it. So he has some federal pressure on him. That's why he had to unload the Lakers so fastly, Mark Walters. That's why he had to unload the Lakers so quickly without a public bid for that $12.2 billion, is he needs cash to pay down the loans that he has out there around his insurance companies. He's going to have federal charges coming up if he doesn't get it done, from everything I've read. Now, that's for people smarter than me, to be honest with you, but from what I've read, that's coming. Then he's got this $1 billion payment to purchase with another entity to purchase another company and stuff like that coming up. He needs cash quickly. I think the Dodgers are going to be in play. If the Dodgers aren't privately being spent around, there definitely is conversations behind the scenes of somebody taking over the Dodgers away from him so he can have money. He needs cash, and he needs billions of dollars of it out there, reportedly. And then, you hear all this talk. The talk before was the Dodgers. He even went reportedly to the Dodgers have the best local deal for broadcasting of anybody. That's why they have so much money on paper. The payment is like a 25 or 35 year deal for a small, like $8 billion. So $350 million a year is what's being paid to the Dodgers, and only the Dodgers can get it. Great deal for them. I was reading last night that he went to them, Charter Communications. He went to them and offered to basically get them out of that deal early for a cash settlement because he needs cash. Of course, they're balking at it because they have such a good deal out there as well. So he needs all of this stuff. But my problem around baseball, and I take a lot of slack from math nerds on X when I do this stuff, but I think deferred payments are the death of baseball. I understand the time value of money. I really do. I get it. If you spread stuff out later, one, it might not be your problem because is he going to own the Lakers in 20 years when he's paying Shohei Ohtani, or the Dodgers when he's paying Shohei Ohtani? That's one situation. Two, it allows you to buy things now that you wouldn't be able to with that money being spread out there, right? All that stuff comes into it. That's what the Dodgers are playing. And they're highly in debt. $1.45 billion is what I was reading yesterday. For their deferred contracts out there, worth is $1.45 billion. And those are spread throughout several insurance companies, including several of his own, which, from what I've been reading, like I said, smarter people than me, it's illegal. But these are the types of things that they did to bring in this talent. Max Muncy, who's the third baseman there for the Dodgers. He has now gone over 400 plate appearances for this season as of yesterday. So now he has an incentive package on his contract. You hit 400 plate appearances, you get incentives. For every plate appearance, if he walks up to the plate, folks, he gets $15,000 for every plate appearance, from the 401st plate appearance all the way up to 550 plate appearances. Every time Max Muncy walks to the plate for the rest of this season, which we have what? Month and a half left in the season? Let's just say that's 30 games. I know it's more than that, but let's just say it's 30 plus playoffs. He's going to make $15,000. You get 4 or 5 at-bats a game. Yeah, that's an incentive that he gets there. Then his 2027 contract, his salary escalates $20,000 at that time for every plate appearance from the 401 to 500 at that time. So it goes to $20,000 next year for his 400 plate appearances. So if he stays healthy, he's making more money. It goes up to $35,000 if he goes to 501 to 550 plate appearances next year as well. These are the incentives they're throwing at these guys to get them here and get them here at the Dodgers, along with their astronomical salaries and stuff to that effect. This Dodgers situation is interesting because they've run highly into debt. They've leveraged debt here to get to this position and spend this money and get these players into their organization. Then the owner on top of it is facing federal regulatory issues, needing cash. That's why he unloaded the Lakers so quickly and as fast as he could. Are the Dodgers going to be available for somebody coming up here? Is he going to be federally, nobody buys federally looked at money, by the way. Right? What's happening with his owner? Is he going to have to cut back is he going to have to start unloading assets, to get cash payments and stuff to that effect? He's having a cash problem, which is weird when you're a billionaire. He just over-leveraged himself and did shady things, let's put it that way, in terms of the insurance world and doing that stuff. So this is a unique conversation to talk about the Dodgers here moving on for the rest of the season. Something to pay attention to. Again, if the Diamondbacks can stay in this hunt, which we're not even sure they can do that right now with this Marte situation tearing through this team. This is going to end up being a monumentally blown. This is going to be an issue with the Diamondbacks that's going to blow up I just have a feeling it's going to. 2 years ago, we told you the locker room was jaded with Marte's antics at the end of the season 2 years ago. It was split. Half the locker room liked it, half the locker room didn't. We heard earlier this year the story of Marte, issues to Bob Nightingale out there. This locker room's fractured. Stay in it because this Dodgers situation's going to affect them coming up as well. That we got to look at it as well. Robert says Toll is the Red Sox best starter, and he goes today. Well, that's the issue with Brandon Pfaadt. That's why I said earlier, Robert, I'm not saying the Diamondbacks are going to win today, but what they need is an outing from Brandon Pfaadt. 7 innings like he's shown. 7 innings. Put the onus on the team, kind of put the team on there. You'd like the win. You'd expect the win from him. But when you have the matchup there against the Red Sox pitcher, you need somebody to put an unhuman performance together today to give this team the confidence back again in terms of Brandon Pfaadt out there as well. Robert says he has until the end of the year to get that money paid back, I think. It's December is the time frame he has to do it. But if you think about it, if you owe $20 billion to pay back loans and stuff like that, and it's due by, let's say, December 30th, the word billion is just a word in my eyes, right? But do you know how much $1 billion is? He sold the Lakers for $12.2 billion. He gets 65% of that because Jeannie Buss and them own 17% and some other entities own it. That's only a third of that $20 billion that he got. He still has to come up with $8 billion. That's astronomical amount of money. Where do you come up with that? You're not your seat cushion ain't having that. I don't care how much money you have. Unless he's got a giant bank vault like Scrooge McDuck did, where he can go out there and dive into his gold coins. $8 billion is hard to find without selling large, valuable assets, i.e. the Dodgers will get you closer type of a situation. That's how dire this situation is for the Dodgers. This isn't a couple million. $8 billion? A lot of money. A lot of money to come up with from that perspective. So enough baseball here, and hopefully the sad part to me also is that just on this Marte situation, it's pretty simple. The Diamondbacks could have done a lot of good yesterday in squashing this, kind of putting it to bed, and they did none of it. There's more questions today than there was yesterday. There's more questions today than there was Monday. And the longer this lingers, the more it's going to affect the team on the field in that locker room. And they're not addressing it. They're not going to address it today. They're not going to address it tomorrow on their day off. Now they come back here, more media is going to show up for the home series against the Reds. Are they going to have to kind of face it at that time? But as I said yesterday as well, let's say they bring back Marte and he can play on Friday against the Reds. How big of a distraction is that going to be? If they don't bring him back, how big of a distraction is it going to be on Friday? Then they bring him back, let's say, against the Cubs on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. How big of a distraction is that going to be? You need finality and questions answered in this to kind of squash it, and they're not giving it. And I understand why they're not, to be honest with you, because they're on the road. You're able to squash it a little bit on the road because you don't have the normal media there. Coming home on Friday, God bless you. You gotta get a hold of this because it's coming hot and heavy here on how to handle that side of things out there. Really quick in terms of Arizona State football, of course they're in camp right now. Quarterback battle going on there between Mikey Keene and of course Boley here. I think Boley's going to win the job initially out of camp. He's a more prototypical type quarterback. That's the quarter. He's more. Like I said yesterday with Bruce Cooper. He's more like Sam. If you want to think of quarterback, he's more Sam Levitt. Mikey Keene can throw the football, doesn't have as strong of an arm, but he's also more mobile. I think they like the Sam Levitt, Boley type quarterbacks here at Arizona State, and that's what they look for. So I think he'll win it out of camp, but Mikey Keene is doing it. And if something happens to Boley during the season, Keene's going to be an ample step up, 1,000% into this year and stuff like that. But, they've been practicing. There's, if you want to get down into the weeds, you could talk about position battles and how guys have looked. It's kind of like an NFL training camp. Talk to me when the first game comes and we have the lineups. We know who's starting. We know we're going to see how they're going to play and stuff like that. Because in camp, a lot of guys will look good in camp. We'll have to see when the live fire happens out there. But yesterday we reached the point of the offseason I've been waiting for. It happened last year. It happened the year before. And that's the bad practice where Kenny Dillingham goes to the microphone and just lambasts his team's practice habits. We are at that point here. Let's listen to it. Kenny Dillingham after practice yesterday.
Yeah, I felt good up to today. Today was a bad day for the offense. Worst day by far. We didn't look like an offense today. Couldn't move the ball. When we did move the ball, we got penalties. So they got to wake up. I told the defense, great job. Defense playing great. We're flying around, playing hard. Offense, not good enough today at all. And it wasn't just because the defense played well. It's one thing when you don't do well because they make great one-on-one plays. Like, that's football, right? Like in the scrimmage, there were some great one-on-one plays made on defense in the low red zone. Great effort plays, stopped explosives. Shit, I'm fired up about that. Those effort plays are still showing up on defense, but now there's critical internal errors on offense. Those are the things that you can't have. You can get beat one-on-one every once in a while. That's fine. But you can't have critical errors. And we had way too many critical errors today, and they got to wake up. We're going to move Clayton Smith back tight end starting tomorrow. Challenge some people. We got to create competition. The team's about competition, so Clayton's going to go back in the tight end room for one purpose, create competition.
My favorite part there is now you see what Dale's desk looks like when we don't adjust the camera out there and get it set up. A little behind the scenes for you and everything. But look, it is funny, man. Like, why is he out of breath? Why is he out of breath there? But you heard that, right? We're at the point in off-season and preseason here, and training camp, we'll call it, for the Arizona State Sun Devils, where Kenny Dillingham's not happy with the practices. Again, we've been through it years past and stuff like that. We'll have to see where it goes. He's trying to create competition, which I love, by moving Clayton back into that tight end room to create competition. Fantastic. This is the time of year, Cardinals as well, where you need to create competition out there. The 10-year vet that thinks his job's solidified out there, you need somebody to push him behind him. You just do. I believe in that wholeheartedly. Look at the receivers for the Cardinals this year. You got receivers. You don't even know their names. I don't even know their names. Guys playing in the fourth quarter making unbelievable catches out there. Running the routes, making these catches, and showing they deserve to get a spot on a team. The running back depth is great here on this Cardinals team as well this year. They have decisions to make with these guys on who's going to make the team and who's not out there. All four quarterbacks. Sorry, Slovis, I forgot about you there. All four quarterbacks have looked good with an opportunity to play this year. Create that opportunity where Jacoby Brissett's the starter, but he's got to perform well because Gardner Minshew behind him is playing well. You know what? Those two got to play well because Carson Beck is waiting for his opportunity. Slovis is trying to earn a squad on there. Create opportunity, create competition. That's how you get better. Kenny Dillingham's trying it there as well, even though it was a disappointing point. I did just get more of a fun time there just for him, doing his annual, we played like crap today on practice. We didn't like practice. I didn't like practice. And that stuff just kind of makes me giggle because it feels like you're at home with that every year when that happens. In terms of NFL football news out there, just for some of you, whether you're Pat McAfee fans or not, he's everywhere, as you know. He's going to be the newest member of Monday Night Countdown coming up this year on ESPN as well. So what that doing? Well, that's setting him up. If he does well during that, it's setting him up for be a big part of the Super Bowl coverage coming up this year for ESPN as well. So it's going to be Pat McAfee, Scott Van Pelt, who I like a lot, Jason Kelsey, Marcus Spears, and Jason McCourty are all going to be on Monday Night Countdown starting this year for the ESPN stuff there on Monday Night Football as well. So he, of course, is still going to do the Pat McAfee show. College Game Day is where he's going to work as well coming up. So he's busy this football season, Pat McAfee. Get that money while you can if you're Pat out there as well. So just give you a heads up on what's coming from that perspective. And finally, lots of questions on Josh Sweat. We know he's there, but he's not doing anything. Is this a hold in? Is he proving something? Is he not proving something? Stuff to that effect here. I like LaFleur and how he handles his press conferences. I like the way he speaks. He's forthcoming, and even when he doesn't want to be forthcoming, he at least says something that isn't an egomaniac jerk like Jonathan Gannon used to do. So Mike LaFleur, like for instance, Jeremiah Love, when they asked him about his ankle on Sunday it was, they asked him, "Hey, what about Jeremiah's ankle? Love's ankle?" And he said, "It's an ankle. We're just going to leave it at that." An hour later, Schefter comes out and says it's a high ankle sprain, right? But he at least answered the question and stuff like that. Last year, it would have been like, we don't discuss that. He's getting help. We're going to get him healthy and he'll be ready to play. The statue, right? I wonder how much it costs to remove that statue from the sidelines from last year. It's kind of the question. So Mike LaFleur, and I'll leave you with this here today. Appreciate you joining me here, and we'll see if Dale's able to make it in tomorrow. We'll have to get an update from him later on as well. But Mike LaFleur is at the podium yesterday talking in his press conference. He says Josh Sweat continues to prepare for the regular season, and he says he's doing it behind the scenes is what he's doing. He says he's in good spirits as well. How good of spirits is Josh Sweat, Mike LaFleur? Here it is.
Oh, yeah. Had a great talk with him about a cool restaurant in Arcadia today. It was sweet.
Did you guys hear that? I know it was kind of quiet. It was cool. I had a great I had a great conversation with him about a sweet restaurant in Arcadia. Play it again, Ethan. It's a little bit louder.
Had a great talk with him about a cool. Had a great talk with him. Oh, yeah. Had a great talk with him about a cool restaurant in Arcadia today. It was sweet.
That's the greatest answer I've ever heard, I think. Because he answers the question, but he doesn't just shut you down and be an a-hole about it. I don't know. I like the guy. He's not going to answer that question. He's not going to tell you how Josh Sweat's feeling and stuff like that. He's not going to give you that update, right? So instead of being a jerk about it or shut it down, he responds that way. I just found that comical. I don't know how you feel about it, but I found that comical on how he handled that out there. So Josh Sweat update. First of all, we're in the Arcadia area. It's right down the road from me. What restaurant is he talking about? I need to know. That should have been the follow-up question. Where do I go for lunch today here in the Arcadia area? That's my question as we go forward as well. So I know I saw lineups are out. I didn't get a chance to look at it there, but Robert says Arenado is in the lineup today. He said great MRI machines in Boston. I love the MRI talk. How Marte's got to come back for one. No, it's the personal issue. No, it's not. It's the knee. It's the MRI in Phoenix. He's more comfortable with the MRI machines in Phoenix than the ones in Boston. Yeah. But Arenado is in the lineup today. I did see that, which I was reading yesterday. He's not healthy. I was reading yesterday, and the dichotomy of this team, and this is what I'm talking about with the locker room. Arenado has a trunk injury. We've been over how stupid this sounds and everything. Just say he has an abdominal strain, which means it's going to be hard for him to swing a bat and move and play in the field, stuff like that. He might be in a little bit of discomfort out there. The locker room goes back to this. Arenado has a legit injury that happened on the field. Friday, I think? Got an MRI. Needs it to heal, wants to gut it out, and he's in the lineup today. Another guy on the team just disappears and doesn't show up. Be more Arenado more than you are Ketel Marte. Be an Arenado in a world of Martes. How about that? Hey, folks, appreciate you joining me today. Don't forget, we'll be back tomorrow live on YouTube as well. Uncle Lou comes in. Great UFC 330 last week. Another fight coming up this week. For that, we'll get more into talk here around the NFL with Uncle Lou tomorrow as well. 9 o'clock is when he comes in tomorrow. Catch the whole show live, 8 to 10 a.m. Join us at 9 o'clock live on YouTube if you'd like as well, just for that. Everything's up on demand as well, folks. We'll see you tomorrow. Have a great one.